Have you ever wondered what life will be like if people start living in a virtual reality world, leaving the real world behind? Join me as we explore this exciting sci-fi movie, Ready Player One, to discover the challenges and changes that await in the future. But before we proceed, make sure you're ready for spoilers. As the film begins, we are introduced to Wade Watts, an orphan living under the care of his aunt, Alice, and her boyfriend, Rick. Wade has a keen interest in video games, particularly his favorite one, Oasis. It's not just an ordinary game. Oasis is a virtual reality world that looks remarkably real when you play it. In this immersive realm, people can become avatars, indulging in video games, entertainment, and fulfilling desires not easily attainable in the real world. Made by James Halliday and Ogden Morrow of Gregarious Games, the Oasis offers boundless possibilities, allowing individuals to do anything and assume any identity they desire. The game's main character is Parzival, who is Wade's avatar. He has a close friend named Each, who is a strong and skilled mechanic. Together, they venture into dangerous territories within the game, battling creatures and earning valuable coins through their victories. One of Wade's hobbies is attempting to solve a contest left behind by James Halliday, who designed it before his death. Following Halliday's death, a video message reveals that he concealed an Easter egg somewhere within the Oasis. The person who discovers this hidden treasure will become the new owner of the game, worth $500 billion. To reach this egg, they must unlock a door that demands 3 keys, each obtained by successfully completing a set of 3 unique challenges. The initial challenge is a race, and as of today, no one has managed to conquer it. Participants in this game are known as egg hunters or nicknamed Gunters. A large number of Gunters enter the competition, including a powerful corporation named IOI. Its CEO, Nolan Sorrento, is determined to seize control of the Oasis game in order to significantly increase his company's value. We see a scene of the race when Parzival is in a car. A female character named Art3 Ms., whose real name is Samantha, joins Parzival in the race. As they race, they encounter various obstacles. Parzival leads the race until a character named Gorilla arrives. Gorilla wrecks Parzival's car, and in a critical moment, Parzival notices Art3 Ms approaching and saves her by pulling her away. However, Gorilla then destroys Art3 Ms's bike. Parzival persuades Each to assist Art3 Ms in fixing her bike. In Each's garage, Parzival and Art3 Ms have a conversation about Halliday's challenge. Art3 Ms' words linger in Wade's mind, prompting him to visit the Halliday Journals, a virtual place within the Oasis dedicated to Halliday's memories. With the help of a mechanical curator, Wade witnesses a memory in which Halliday and Morrow discuss the future of their creation. Halliday expresses his hate towards rules and yearns to just go backward. It's in this conversation that Wade discovers a crucial clue. At the beginning of the race, all the racers are moving forward, with nobody attempting to reverse. Parzival, however, recalls the hint about going backward and decides to give it a try. To everyone's surprise, Parzival reverses his car instead of moving forward. This unexpected move unlocks a hidden path that takes him beneath the challenge, past Kong, and into Central Park. Upon reaching Central Park, Parzival encounters Halliday's character, Anorak, who rewards him with a copper key, 100,000 coins, and a valuable clue. 2 teams are in a race to secure the key. On one side, there's Parzival and his team of friends, and on the other, the rival team from IOI. Upon learning that Parzival has secured the key, Sorrento becomes agitated and transforms himself into an avatar, and enters the game. In the virtual realm, Sorrento engages in a conversation with a horrifying character named IR0K and acquires a potent item called the Orb of Osavox, which will be used later in the film. Sorrento offers a substantial reward to IR0K in exchange for information about Parzival. Parzival and his friends embark on a quest to uncover the second hint for the second task. One evening, they visit the Distracted Globe, a unique club crafted by Halliday, in hopes of finding a clue. Within the club's confines, Art3 Ms guides Parzival onto a zero-gravity dance floor. Amid the weightless atmosphere, Parzival starts to open up, sharing his feelings with Art3 Ms, and eventually, he even reveals his true name to her as Wade, which happens to be overheard by IR0K. IOI's soldiers launch an attack on them, prompting Art3 Ms to try and lead Parzival to safety. However, these soldiers obstruct their path, leading to an intense confrontation. In a critical moment, Parzival uses a Rubik's Cube that can reverse time by 60 seconds. Manipulating the cube, he resets the time and seizes the opportunity to escape with Art 3 Ms. After they escape outside, Art 3 Ms shares a heartbreaking story about her father's death at an IOI loyalty center while trying to pay off debts. She explains that she doesn't play Oasis for fun but rather out of a strong dislike for the owner of IOI, who wants to take over the game and change it. She's determined to stop him to prevent any harm to the Oasis and to seek justice for her father. Parzival is about to use the game device when he gets a text from Sorrento, asking for a meeting. They meet up at a virtual location, and Sorrento offers Parzival a job worth 25 million, but he declines. Sorrento then threatens him that he will destroy his house. In this tense moment, Parzival spots Sorrento's account ID and password on his car and then goes outside the realm. Parzival rushes out to warn his aunt and her boyfriend, but he's too late. Their home, on top of a stack, explodes and crashes down, resulting in his aunt's death. Wade attempts to reach out to his friends but is suddenly attacked by an unidentified man with a face tattoo. He loses consciousness. Upon awakening, he finds himself in the presence of Samantha, who was Art 3 Ms in the game. Samantha appears distressed about a birthmark on her face, but Wade reassures her that it doesn't bother him. They discuss the next clue, learning that Halliday's major regret was not pursuing a romantic relationship and failing to sustain it. To investigate further, they visit the spot where Halliday and his love, Kira, first met, which happens to be a movie theater. While each is exploring the area, he stumbles upon a room where he encounters a horrifying old woman who attempts to attack him. In a bid to escape, he enters a labyrinthine maze. He tries very hard to escape it but failed. Parzival and their team eventually come to Icha's rescue and help him get out of the situation. Samantha has a sudden realization about the clue and manages to navigate through the zombies. She approaches Kira and asks her for a dance. Each rushes to her side, protecting her from the zombies, resulting in the success of the mission. Then Anorak arrives and presents them with the second key. Now we see Parzival and his friend coming to the real world. They were having a discussion to find the third hint and key. Sorrento dispatches his associate, Fnail Xander, to locate the group, and she eventually succeeds. In a desperate bid to ensure Wade's escape, Samantha sacrifices herself and signals their friends for help. Fnail catches up with Samantha and takes her to IOI's loyalty centers, a place she fears the most. In the meantime, Parzival is located and rescued by his friends. Each aids his escape using a customized postal truck, where he reunites with Dato and Sho. Now, Parzival is determined to rescue Samantha. With his knowledge of the password, he hacks into her account and guides her on how to exit the situation. Sorrento eventually cracks the third hint. The hint leads to Castle Anorak on Planet Doom in the Oasis, where the final challenge is revealed, an Atari 2600 with every game ever made for it, but only one game unlocks the final key. Sorrento activates the Orb of Osivox to protect the castle and places explosives outside the castle's entrance. Parzival arrives at the castle and becomes frustrated upon discovering Sorrento's shield. Being known as the winner of the first and second keys, he goes live to ask for assistance from Oasis users. Although people are anxious due to their fear of IOI and its owner, they also harbor a strong dislike for it. Before long, a significant crowd gathers, consisting of Parzival's devoted admirers. Parzival's face lights up as he witnesses their support. Meanwhile, Samantha operates a device from inside the industry to deactivate the shield, allowing Parzival to enter. What ensues is a massive battle between Parzival's supporters and IOI within the castle. Now, Parzival and his friends begin their journey toward the building where they are supposed to locate the third key. Parzival throws a doll on IOI's team. Many people get defeated and get out of the game because of it. Sorrento transforms into a massive Mechagodzilla, prompting one of Parzival's friends to turn into a giant Japanese samurai in an attempt to defeat him. A fierce battle ensues between the two colossal entities. However, Mechagodzilla manages to injure the samurai, causing him to revert to his normal size. Mechagodzilla then sets his sights on Parzival, preparing to launch an attack. Fortunately, Samantha intervenes and throws a mad ball or bomb into Mechagodzilla's mouth, ultimately defeating Sorrento. In a fit of rage, Sorrento goes on a destructive rampage within his facility, convinced that Samantha is present. To protect her, Wade takes the drastic step of eliminating her character in the Oasis, enabling her to escape into the real world. She soon reunites with the others outside. In the game world, that villain was continuously trying to kick Parzival out of the game. He destroys everything so that he doesn't pass through here. But Parzival's friend makes a bridge of himself and asks him to walk over him. Par walks over him and enters the building. When he goes inside, he finds many soldiers of IOI there. He explodes his bomb on them because it is impossible to fight them. Due to this, everyone dies immediately. When Parzival reaches the final stage, he encounters an IOI member playing the last part of the game. After the IOI player wins, he suddenly vanishes from the scene. Parzival shares with his friend that disappearing after winning suggests that the true winner isn't necessarily the one who completes the game, but rather the one who approaches it with the right spirit and attitude. Parzival begins the game, but Sorrento and IR0K suddenly appear. Sorrento makes one final offer but also threatens to use a devastating weapon called the Cataclysm that could obliterate every avatar on Planet Doom. Despite Parzival's efforts to stop him, Sorrento activates the device, resulting in the destruction of all the characters in that location, including himself. Sorrento was initially pleased because everyone's rank reset to 0. However, his joy turns to shock when he notices Parzival's name at the top of the list, indicating that Parzival had scored the highest. It turns out that Parzival didn't die because he possessed a coin that granted him a second chance at survival. Now, he can play the game without any interference from other players. Taking advantage of the second chance, Parzival resumes the game. He plays skillfully, and to his surprise, Halliday himself appears and awards him the third crystal key, commending his performance. However, in the real world, IOI launches an attack, causing Parzival to lose his balance and struggle to obtain the key initially. As they take refuge in a truck, Fnail arrives and initiates an attack. However, Wade manages to kick her out of the truck. With all three keys in his possession, Parzival proceeds to the door and inserts them. The door finally unlocks, revealing a stunning and beautiful location. Anorak is present and asks Parzival to sign a contract. However, Parzival becomes suspicious and realizes it could be a conspiracy or trap, especially considering Halliday had fallen into a trap before. His decision proves right, it was indeed a trap. Then Anorak, Halliday's avatar, transforms into the real Halliday and leads him to a room, where he presents Parzival with an Easter egg. During this encounter, Halliday emphasizes the significance of the real world and interacting with actual people, even though the virtual world has its merits. On the other side, Sorrento is consumed by jealousy and attempts to attack Parzival in the real world. However, as he opens the truck's door, he discovers an Easter egg in his hand, which leaves him stunned. In a twist of fate, the police arrive at the scene and apprehend him. Now we see that orphan boy Wade, known as the Avatar Parzival, has become the owner of the Oasis game. Wade's whole team is now with him. Shortly after this, Ogden Morrow, the co-founder of the game, shows up, along with some lawyers from Gregarious Games, wanting Wade's signature on Q document. However, he claims he wants to split the prize with his friends. Ogden also reveals that he was the curator in the game and commends Wade for his detective work. After the contest, Ogden begins working with them to manage the Oasis. They prohibit loyalty centers from operating within the Oasis, forcing IOI to close them down. To follow Halliday's advice about enjoying the real world, they also decide to turn off the Oasis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then we see Wade and Samantha spending a good time together. And this marks the end of the recap. Basically, the story tells us not to spend all our time in our fantasy world. It says we should maintain a balance and remember that the real world is where we discover our goals, significance, and happiness. The story reminds us of the importance of treasuring friendships and relationships, even in our fast-paced, modern world. Thank you for watching. Share your comments about this movie in the comments section below and do hit the like and subscribe button for more such content.